Yo, what is going on everyone? This is Arcando. Welcome to a brand new tutorial today. In this tutorial, I'm going to explain the drop of my brand new release called Still Be Friends, which I released over almost a month ago on Chill Nation. The support on the track has been literally really dope. We hit like 200,000 streams in less than a month, which is really awesome. So thank you guys all so much for streaming this track and supporting it. I originally wanted to do a full tutorial on the track, and then I realized that I made the song in 10 different projects. There is like intro stuff in another project, there is vocal stuff in another project, there is the mixing in another project, mastering, other sound design, writing projects. It's been probably one of the craziest projects I've ever done when it comes to, producing the track, mixing the track, and mastering the track. But I still wanted to pull off this tutorial, so I gathered the main elements in regards to the drop and the vocals and like the build up part. So it's going to be a shorter tutorial, but nonetheless I think still a very interesting tutorial. So before we actually get right into this, what I'm wearing right now is my brand new Arcando Delivery Next Level merch. This is the hoodie. I also have a t-shirt. They're extremely comfortable and super affordable as well. We sell t-shirts for 30 euros and the hoodies for 55 euros, I believe. And we ship worldwide. It's a limited edition only. So if you want your item, I'd say get it right now before it gets sold out. Yeah, just wanted to quickly mention that because I'm extremely proud of this first merch launch. So yeah. Anyways, that also being said, let's get right into the project. I'm going to start with the piece of the build-up, and then we lead towards the drop.
I can tell you what's on my mind, but if love can save us, can we still be friends?
Alright, so that was the drop, and we're going to start off with the first section of the drop, which are the percussions, and the percussions sound like this. Yeah. Really, really complex actually. There's so many layers, there's so much going on. So we're going to start off with the very first sound in the drop, which is the main element, which is the kick. It's it says here Louis Vuitton, but it's not from him. It's RMZ Kick Dark Volume 2 kick. Really has like this oomph sound. It's very mid-range, so yeah, really mid-low range kick. It's not a lot of high end actually, which is exactly what I wanted to have. Then we have some snaps. One is from the Unison pack from Jaden Lewis, just a very simple snap. And then the other one is a clap from the Louis Vuitton pack, but then as you can see it's a little bit off grid, so it creates like a longer clap basically. Then we also added some more hi-hats. A lot of Louis Vuitton samples, by the way. As you can see, it's like a lot of percussions from the pack. I really wanted to get like this almost acoustic sounding drop, and his sample packs really give a lot of those samples and sounds. So we have all these other sounds. These other like rim shots. Really, they're kind of randomly placed, as you can see. They're really off grid, but that creates this swing feel to the drop. I feel like also if I zoom into the hi-hat loop, it's like really swingy. If I zoom in, you see that every afterbeat hi-hat is off grid basically. It's slightly moved more to the right, which creates like this bouncy feeling to it. So yeah, nothing too crazy. It's honestly just a lot of different sounds to it. There's an autograph sample, just another clap, nothing too crazy. Um, Something that actually gives the drop a lot more like organic vibes is actually me in the drop doing some chants. What I'm gonna play right now sounds super cheesy, but it really works. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's basically some. I sound like Drake, basically, but it really works. It really makes it sound more authentic to the track and to the drop, and it gives like a really nice ear candy to it. Um, So yeah, nothing too crazy here in the drums. Then we have, of course, the mid bass. So the first bass is another sample from Movements. And I think it's it's a Delusion remix. Sounds almost like a Jack U bass in a way, and I felt like that really filled up the spectrum a lot. I just added it in the EXS24 sampler from Logic. And the only thing I added on this was a one knob pumper, which is a sidechain plugin from Waves. And the second sound is this. I think this is also a sample. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Drop bass J, no clue what that is. Yet again, it's another sort of Jack U-ish sounding bass. Another one knob pumper and an EQ that's cutting out a little bit of the low end and removing a lot of the high mid range sounds in the bass. Then we have this one. This is from the Ultrasonic Sound Bank Bass Mesto 01. This is just for the high end. As you can see, I only removed the low end in the bass and I added another sidechain effect. And that's just for the high end, just to add some like crisp to the bass. We have this. Which I think acts more of like a distorted 808 in a way. Also not, removing any frequencies there. It really gives the body of the bass. Bass Mike Williams 03 from the Ultrasonic Sound Bank. Yet again, just adding that one knob pumper. And then on the group, I used to have the API plugin from Waves, but I don't have that one anymore. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. What I added was an EQ, just cutting out the low end and the high end. Then I added a transient designer where I'm reducing the attack and the sustain, so it's not as punchy. And I reduced again the high end through the Pro Q3, but I'm not EQing it away, I'm actually compressing it away. And yeah, that's basically it. And then altogether it sounds like this. Just a really nice crunchy bass, but not too full, like it's not gonna interfere with your other synths. As you can tell from the bass group, there is not a lot of low end in it. So I really needed to add another sub bass that is supporting the really low end of the bass group, and it sounds like this. I really love this sub bass because it's really gritty and it really gives a lot of information in the high end, but it's also really strong in the low end of your bass, and it really complements the mid bass. All of a sudden it just sounds so much fuller, because it fills up the entire spectrum. It's again, it's Serum. It's also a sample actually, but I mix it with a sub oscillator, which is -4 in octave range. And I added a distortion and a compressor in the Serum Effects tab. There is a gain. I put it on mono because I didn't want it to be like too wide and interfering with the other stereo elements. There's an EQ which does nothing. There is a neutron effect, and I don't know what I did here. Just an EQ. It's like compressing the really low end of the bass, and it's boosting a little bit of the frequencies around the 400 500 hertz. I added some excitement to the bass and 2 compressors, just like really punching the bass. There is a sidechain compressor that's not really work. I think this is just compressing the signal because it's not really being sidechained. There's another EQ cutting off all the high end, or a little bit of the high end, and there is a 1-knob pumper. This is the sidechain plugin for the bass, not the Pro C plugin. And yeah, that's a sub bass. And then we have the synths. Really nice warm layer here. We have the first main layer, which are the chords. These Rhodes are from the Scarby Vintage Keys library in Contact, and I chose the Scarby Mark I stretched tuned preset. And I turn off the reverb and the delay, yeah, and just has like a really nice, nice Rode sound to it. And then I added an EQ. I cut off all the low end and a little bit of the high end, and I added another sidechain plugin. Then we have this one. This is actually another very important element in the track, or especially in like the synth layer, because this adds like this top lead, which has like a very unique tone to it and is very swingy. So I added just a Serum sound. I think I actually got this preset from Jonas Aiden, I believe. Just bass elephant phaser. Let me see. I just downloaded it from Splice. Just use a decapitator. Just really like distorted the sound a lot. A transient designer, which is making it more sharp, more like attacky. Then just cutting off all the low end and high end. EQ, nothing too crazy. And then the LFO tool. This is actually what's like making that like wobble effect. And one really important function that this plugin has is the swing tool. And I put it -28 to the left. And this is what adds swing to your wobble, basically. And then, yeah, nothing too crazy. Just some reverb, 1-knob puncher again. Nothing too special here. And then we have these 2 pluck layers. Really swingy as well. As you can see, they're really like off-grid. This first layer is Serum, and this is a custom-made preset actually. Just feel free to to copy it. 2 analog syn oscillator sounds mixed with a organ noise oscillator, and it's a really short sound. It's like really soft and short. And it has a pretty big hyper dimension, so it's like very wide. And what I added on this was an EQ, compressor, reverb, 1-knob pumper again, and the stereo spread plugin from Logic, which makes it wider in the mix, and then mixed with a limiter. And that's that. And then we have this one. Which is more like an organ, like, e-piano sound. Oh, actually, it is an e-piano. The vintage electric piano from Logic. Super simple. Like, on its own, it sounds really stupid, in my opinion. But mixed with, the first Serum layer, it, really warms up the sound. And then we have this third layer, which comes in at the second part of the drop. This is a more plucky layer, Ace. I don't even know what this is. It's from Yuhei, and in the group, it has a channel EQ, cutting out the low end and boosting the high mid range. It has an OTT plugin, which is just compressing the sound, and a transient designer yet again to make it more clicky, more punchy. And then we of course have the vocal, and I had a lot of requests for the vocal. So super quickly, I'm gonna go through it. It's literally the same channel strip as for There For You, as all my other vocals that I do. So I don't think I need to explain it too much. I think I just got an email. Maybe not. Oh yeah, okay. Alright, bye. Okay. So the preset is basically the same when it comes to the vocal in the verse or the vocal in the build-up. This is my recording, I believe.
Will we be the same we were when all this ends? Can we be cured?
It's some takes. Actually, it's mainly just one take. I guess I just liked my last take the best. Just adding Nectar as always. Just add Nectar on it. Just use Vocal Assistant and you're pretty much good to go. Then what I did is I bounced that and I added the following effects. I added a Pro Q, which is cutting off the low end. I added a Puke Child, which is adding some saturation and compression to the vocal. I added CLA2A, which is another compressor. I added an RDSer, which is compressing the harsh S sounds in the vocal. Then I added an RVox, which is yet again compressing the vocal. Then I added, again, this like super spicy EQ, just cutting off the low end, controlling the mid range and boosting the high end. And I'm adding a vocal ride to control the volume of the vocal. That is it. That is literally all there is on the vocal. Then I chop up the vocal and I made the drop vocal chop, which sounds like this.
When all.
Okay, so what this is, it's literally me just having fun with my vocal. I just chopped it up, and I can even show you which parts I took. So like right here. When all this ends, I just took the when, and then here I took the
when all this.
Again, also there, when all this ends, and I just took the when all, and I timed it differently. And then you create like this new rhythm in the vocal chop. So it's not literally, the rhythm that you had already sang. It's a whole new thing, basically. There is a little alter boy, which is formatting the vocal down. There is a reverb, high cut and depth all the way up. And then the mix is actually very minimal. It's very short as well. Sidechain, again, 1-knot pumper. And there's an EQ. I noticed there was a very harsh peak around this frequency area. Just ducked it down with minus 18 decibels. And I cut off all the low end. What actually makes this whole drop hit a lot better is this trick right here. I finished the sentence like this originally.
Friends.
But now listen how the drop doesn't hit at all without skipping that step.
Be friends.
In my opinion, it just doesn't hit. Like, it's not rhythmically leaning towards the vocal chop. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to chop up that part so it's a nice like step towards what's coming, basically. If I combine the two, you know how that works a lot better than what it was before? So that's just a nice little trick that I did for this track. Then the effects, it's a lot of effects. It's a lot going on here. In the build-up, what do we have? this ARP, which is really like a signature thing for this track, but it's actually from the MM sample pack, if I say that correctly. I don't even know. Really an awesome sound, actually. Really fills up the like this like dreamy vibe. This is another main sound in the track, the Sakima vocal shout. Just chopped up a really long reverb, really makes it dreamy. And then we have this loop, which I made myself in Quanta, which is a granular synthesizer, which is, I think, one of my favorite plugins when it comes to experimenting with sounds. But this is how it sounds like. Really dreamy, and it fills up the spectrum so nicely. Just really adds like a nice vibe to the build up. And I actually also added it in the drop. There is this radar effect in the drop. And without effect, it sounds like this. Just almost like it's like a pluck, basically. Just an EQ, some delay, kickstart, and a tremolo effect, so it's being panned from left to right. One of my favorite sounds in the drop, actually, it's from the VGP sample pack, vocal phrase. Let me see, what does it say? Nodding her head, and it really adds like this deep house feel to it. You really hear this a lot in like these deep house tracks where they just add like this phrase of someone not really singing something, but like more talking. And I wanted it to be more tuned, so I actually added Nectar on it with a pitch and put it in my key of the track, which was D sharp major. And then I added a delay, another EQ, and a sidechain effect. Then we have like these vocal chops to make it again dreamy, which is actually me. It's a combination of another track. I think this one's from Shalu, and I just cut up the vocal and I just made my own chops with it, and then mixed with mine. Yeah, what it is, it's me with little altar boy on it, just pitching it a little bit down, sample delay, so it sounds a lot wider. We have an EQ, so it sounds more muffled, reverb, and a one knob pumper. So that's basically that. And then the granular loop that comes in again. And that's basically it, actually, for the drop. For the build up, what is left is like this Rhodes keyboard. I really like those chords. And that's mixed with a vocoder.
Will we be the same we were when all...
I use manipulator, a little bit of stereo width to the sound, mixed with an EQ and an OTT. And that's it for that part, for the build up. So guys, that was basically it for this tutorial. Just a quick one for today. Just wanting to show you the drop and the major elements in the track. By the way, before I forget, I'm releasing my brand new release this Friday with That Behavior and Lunis on Future Generation, and it's going to be our cover on When the Party Is Over. I'll leave a pre-save link also in the description below. So yeah, that was it for this video. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you guys on Friday. Peace.